Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Women's Wisdom Circle on the Aquarius full moon. And what I wanted to share as an introduction is like my experience. Well, Aquarius really is about purposeful action from a higher consciousness, from following that internal compass, that intuition that we all have, and the interference that we have from all the programs that we got conditioned with, prevent us sometimes to really follow that inner guidance and that heart-centered place. So you know that I've been experimenting with myself in the last couple of months and really was following almost literally that prompting from inside, and was guided to recently to do a lot of watching of the Flower of Life. With this is a workshop that was given by Drunvalo Melchizedek a while ago already, and it's uploaded on Gaiam TV, and it's all about sacred geometry and the really, which is the source of any creation, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's an object, a building, anything. The pattern of the Flower of Life is there. And not that I understand much about sacred geometry at that point. It's way above, it goes way above my head. However, watching those videos have created a resonance. And I used to see the Flower of Life in the sky when I was in Saudi Arabia swimming. So I know there's something to it. There is a deep kind of remembering in my heart about a truth that I don't understand with my rational mind, but that I know is there. So it's been a very inspiring journey. And what I'm realizing that this experiment has helped me do, it has helped me clear some more of those inherited beliefs that are believed to be stored in the junk DNA. We all have, they say there's about, I'm not sure about the statistics, 95% of junk DNA. Scientists were wondering, why do we have this junk DNA? What do we do with it? But it happens to be now, they're discovering that this junk DNA is really the ancestral inheritances. And in there, you also have all kind of inherited programs, viruses that create drag in your everyday actions, whatever you would want to do. So that understanding has come about because I was also doing a program for the last few months with Dawn Clark on Recode the DNA, some very in-depth work on the morphogenetic fields that we have kind of inherited from our ancestry, and on clearing the viruses that came. We've talked here about how we get reprogrammed constantly through the media, the news, and all that. But we also have the ancestral, the family, the cultural inherited stuff, and all that is stored in that junk DNA. So recently, part of that program, I was given some kind of personalized codes, and I've noticed whenever I work with those clearing tools, there is a clearing happening, because I know from many years of clearing stuff in myself, that whenever something clears, there is a yawning in my field. It's coming out, a yawn, and there is a shift. Cannot explain it, but this is how it happens. And the very first time I really consciously realized this is when I was doing energy healing, Reiki, a long time ago. And some stuff that I was not able to heal with a conscious mind, working with the conscious mind, whenever I was doing energy healing on my body, it kind of transformed itself slowly, gradually. It's not like radical, immediate. Sometimes it's immediate, but sometimes takes a little longer. But this gives me kind of an understanding of stuff that I'd intuited for a very long time, but had no words to express it for myself. And what I'm realizing, all this clearing work and all this kind of impregnating myself with some deeper truths, the sacred geometry, the flower of life, etc., kind of resonate. And it's like I'm now giving myself permission to succeed on my terms. It's something that I might have said many times, like to become my own authority, like following that internal compass rather than following a program out there, like, and we talked also here about how there are so many all the stuff we get via the internet that, like, oh, you have to do this because that will give you that, it's always kind of playing on our fears or our lack or something that we are missing. And that's why we kind of go for it. And then there's, that cycle of expectation, disappointment, and eventually, and it's really all that, because I've been doing this for years, like trying to find solutions out there while still doing the inner work, but really shifting now completely from the inside out and having my own confidence that it will turn out whichever way it will turn out, and it doesn't have to be according to what somebody else has worked for somebody else, let's say, And the other thing that I've been guided to do in the last couple of weeks is to follow a new program that the Shift Network has put together on the psychology of the future with Stanislas Grof. And I don't know whether you probably are familiar with Stanislas Grof. He is the father of transpersonal psychology. And he's done a lot of experiments with LSD and holotropic breath work. And what he has realized is there is an area of psychology that has not been addressed by traditional psychoanalytic psychology, etc. And it's the perinatal, the area. And this is what really resonated with me when I heard him talk. It's like, because I have a long time worked on through many forms, many ways, rebirthing, in the 80s, and all those kind of stuff, done all that because I had knowledge that I had a birth trauma. And what I realized with that other course I did, on the Recode Your DNA, is that the traumas, and, Viviane, she knows those things maybe better than I do, they create a fractal pattern that repeats throughout your life in all areas. And even though I was able to heal a lot of areas, there is something that I had not quite grasped. And when I heard him talk about that, he is really covering that in his course, I jumped in, so it's very interesting. All this is information that I had how can I say this? Like I had intuited, but it gives me kind of words to put, giving me vocabulary to kind of explain something that I resonate with and that I could understand. So basically, that's what I wanted to kind of say, and let's see what you resonate with, and if you want to bring up something else from whatever is going on in your life, it's always welcome. There's no topic here. It's just like this was just present for me, and I wanted to share that because it's all about. We are all about witnessing each other in our journey, so that we can bring out this voice, this different way, you know, this feminine way, which is so needed right now in the world, you know, to create that balance in the in the in the world, you know, where the world has gone kind of out of balance completely, and we all know that. I mean, it's happening everywhere. So it requires more of us doing that shifting from the heart and from intuition, and being guided by that rather than by the external. Because if you're like, you know, something like I did, you know, I was programmed like a lot of other women, you know, my age, through the masculine way, you know, university, and you know, from the head, cut from my source of wisdom and knowledge, you know, and because of the inherited kind of stuff in the morphogenic fields, like women, oh, we have nothing to say. It's not, you know, like we can easily dismissed, you know. So daring to bring all that online and express it is a journey, you know. So that's really what this group is all about, you know. And it's a group like witnessing our own progression through that. Each of us has their own way, you know. There is no two journeys which are the same. So let's just do a short little centering to connect inside and see what you want to bring to the conversation, because it's always very rich, you know, whatever each of us bring to the conversation, and it kind of furthers the expansion of where we can go when we do that. So let's just take a few deep breaths and close your eyes if you can, if you're in a position to do so. And exhale. Taking another deep breath in. Fully exhaling and releasing. And let's take another third deep breath in. And a full exhale to the mouth, releasing. And as you keep on breathing normally at your own rhythm, just your own way, create that connection to the larger field of life. We are part of the earth. We are made up of the earth. So let's take a moment to consciously connect to our earth, allowing that grounding. Imagining that central column of light that runs through our body, moving deep down into the earth, connecting to the center of the earth, and feeling that column of light growing taller to the top of our head, connecting to the cosmic energies, the solar system we're part of, the galaxy, the universe, the infinity that we belong to. We are a speck of energy connected as a cell to the earth and as a cell to the universe. So allowing that connection to the larger field of life to really come home to our heart. And to notice what is present today in your heart. What is there that wants to be expressed, witnessed, shared, and just allowing that energy of the circle that we are today. Vivian in California, Fiona in the UK, myself in France, and whomever will listen later on in the world. There might be some people listening in right now or that will listen later to the replay, to connect to the energy circle that we are creating virtually. Since energy has no boundaries, no borders, this is how we are connected. This is where all the information lies, and we can access it. We are only limited by the beliefs that we hold that limit us from our full potential. Just taking another moment to connect inside. With what is present right now. And then taking another deep breath in. When you exhale, reconnecting with your physical body, wherever you are located in the world. You might even want to move a little bit your head, your shoulders, your hands, reconnecting to the body, which registers all our experiences. And taking another deep breath in, becoming present to our virtual connection in cyberspace. And taking another deep breath in, emerging and coming back to normal consciousness, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes and connecting back into the virtual room. And let's see what resonates for each of you this morning or this evening. I know it's past midnight for Viviane, and it's even earlier than here for Fiona. So you have to unmute yourself if you would like. Yeah, Fiona, go ahead.
I wasn't going to show up this morning because I've been up and down all night with the dog, and I just felt I hadn't put my makeup on, or I hadn't had my shower, and then I thought, this is the best time to show up, and you've inspired me, Eileen, because just to be yourself, and as you were speaking about being born, I had a vision of when I was born. My mum said I was really horrible. I had a big lump in my head and I had a birthmark. And it's strange. You think you've let these things go, but quite a lot of really positive things have happened in my development with my family and with my mum, and I love her, from my heart. But it's still those the junk DNA on the remnants there of the fact that I've been looking for that recognition. And just by turning up today without makeup, and not having, I was with a beautiful soul yesterday who I've been working with, and who's really resonating with my work, my meditations, and I've been doing things with numerology and all sorts of channeled information. And she's like gone from not being able to go in front of a video camera, and my son actually bought her a camera, a really good camera, to now blogging, her life has just flown by, and I'm looking thinking, oh, you're so beautiful, and look at me, you know. And this sort of ego started to come in, and as you were speaking, I could remember, and every full moon it does come up, you know. So we go, oh, here we go. What way can we let it go this time? With fun and being gentle and not eating crisps. And then I sort of just thought, oh, yeah, I'm good enough, and that wasn't meant because I've had this sort of I've been able to discuss this with Mum in moments when, and you know, we've had so much healing in our relationship. So I'm so grateful to God, the angels, you know, all my guides for that, and for all the teachings that I've found along the way. But yes, I can see myself as that baby. In fact, yesterday I recorded a meditation whilst Katie was in the room, and it was with Mother Mary and the unicorns, and it was very much about this subject about nurturing. Because when I was 5, my gran died, and she was like my, you know, person that I thought was my person that told the stories and you know, connected me with angels and unicorns and that magic that I've rediscovered. So yesterday I was able to feel that wonderful nurturing. So I must listen to that meditation again. Just tuning into what you were saying about finding ways. We all find, excuse me, we all find different ways to connect. And what I find is when I'm guided to do them, when I journal, I'm guided to do the meditations that have been given to me. When I do them, a clearing happens. And just one other thing that came through to me was I had been guided to go to Glastonbury. A very, excuse me, my voice is obviously not wanting to let this come through.
Your voice is just fine, Fiona.
But I'm going to, I live near Glastonbury, and I've been guided to go there, and I felt as if I had to go on my own. But then, because I've taken other people as part of the Reiki journey and spiritual journey as a celebration, but my guidance was to go on my own. But then my husband said, I'd like to come with you. So I opened that space for him to go. And it was a really long journey because it's holiday season in UK at the moment. So the roads, the traffic was really bad. And because he travels so much, I was like, I don't want him to be in traffic. I was thinking about him rather than him wanting to do this for me and be with me. So I let that go. And we went a road that I passed quite a few spiritual sites that are quite important to me. Don't know why, but they are. And we had such a lovely journey. And we went to the Peace Gardens. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's really special. And the sun came out, and I just had this beautiful healing come through, this pink light. And it was just being and not having to, I'm going to connect with the heart chakra of the world, and you know, all the teachings that I've had and things. I had no expectations. And then I was able to buy a candle and set my little sanctuary back in my cabin. But when I actually walked into the town in Glastonbury, the people, and this isn't necessarily a judgment, but the people were very, very unhappy because they were, in my view, and perhaps this is a reflection, they were searching for crystals and things outside rather than just being there. I don't know, there just seemed to be something quite significant that we have all we need when we ask. And it's lovely that I did turn up today, because that makes such a difference, just saying, yeah, perhaps I'm not perfect. The dog has had his breakfast and he's not very well, but that's okay. This is my time. This is my time to be here, and you've created this beautiful space. And there's another group. One of the ladies, I think it's Lisa, invited me to, and it's about no excuses. And I joined the group, and it's strange because even though I don't go in the group, I can feel that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said I wasn't going to join the gym, I wasn't going to do the things that I'd been guided to do for months, I think, no excuses, and I sort of tap into that energy and I go along. So that's really what's coming through for me in this moment, really. And I am grateful for the energies of the full moon, because it helps you, for me, it helps me release, and having a space to witness it with friends and is very special. So thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you, Fiona. I really can resonate with what you're saying, you know. And I'm going to make a confession. Usually the day before the thing, on a full moon, my hair grow and I have to do a hair dye. And I do it. Yes. I had it on my agenda. I have to dye my hair. Good, you know. And I said, no, it doesn't suit me. I am not. Maybe nobody is going to show up, so what do I care? You know?
Yeah, it's strange.
It's you know, really, it is not about, yeah, the external is important. I agree. You know, when you want to get your message across, and this is something I got early in the 70s. You know, I've always been very spiritual and following, you know, at that time I was in Montreal and I was following, you know, the teaching of Marilyn. I don't remember her last name. You know, she was channeling a spirit, an American Indian spirit, and we were doing a lot of psychic experiments at that time, and I was kind of realizing that I could kind of tap into energy, but I didn't understand any of it. You know, it was there. So it gave me like an experience. So all those things were interesting me, but I couldn't care less how I looked. You know, so Montreal is cold, and I would have like a yellow hat on. You know, I looked like you know, like I cannot even describe how I looked. You know, I couldn't care less because I wanted to be warm and comfortable, not how I looked, because it was the inside that was more important. I was doing a lot of work on myself already then. This is 40 plus years ago. I mean, it's been an ongoing journey. It's not something that kind of you show up on camera just like that, you know. It's been a long journey for me to actually allow myself to do this, you know, and to dare show up not knowing, you know, exactly what's going to happen. You know, I had to transcend the fear of rejection, nobody showing up, and you know, I'm grateful to whoever always shows up. You know, I'm grateful to you right now that you came, that you made that choice to come, and to Viviane, who also is present most of the time. But what I wanted to say is, at one point, you know, about the outside look. That was during post-EST training. Also in the 80s, I did the EST training, and in one of the seminars, there was a guy, you know, and he told me, because I was leading seminars, he told me you should change the way you dress, you know, because he said it looks like you are dressed, you know, like your mother, you know, kind of, and it probably was true, because I was wearing a dress that my mother had made for me, because she was a seamstress, you know. So and this was during a workshop, I think it was, you know, and he told me I would. There was an exercise in that workshop where, you know, the scenario was, this position is available in the world, you know, somewhere in South Africa, in a mine, whatever, you know, a high administrative position. I had all the credentials on the administrative university level, everything, you know. And the audience had to vote for the person who would get, based on looks, because, you know, we didn't know each other from inside out, you know. And the lady who got the position was a real estate agent, really nicely set up, And when I came on stage, they told me, "Oh, I wouldn't trust my children to you, It could be." I mean, that was such a slap on my face, It was such a wake-up call. I said, "Oh my God," I mean, next week I took somebody with me and I bought myself a wardrobe, like. And from that point on, I would make up my nails. I had, I mean, I went overboard the other way, until I found the balance of what works for me, and not for. But it's true. Sometimes, when you are in a position, you have to have at least a look that you are not turning off the potential people that could benefit from your message, So, really appreciate you turning up just the way you are, because that's what it's all about, It's about the inner beauty. And it takes a long journey to dare to come out and to express that inner beauty when we are all kind of infested still with all the morphogenetic viruses of the culture of how a woman should look, for nowadays, they have this latest polemic in France about the women not having to wear this full body thing when they go on the beach. I mean, it's just like it's mind-boggling, the kind of stuff that an old society that claims to be totally liberal dares to say to a woman, what can you wear and what can you not wear. It's like, I understand, like when you see people completely wrapped around, and completely covered, wearing like a nun, etc. Yeah, but that's just where they're at, and let them be. It's rather than making a rule out of it, and you have to, because that's a remnant of a program again. That's what I'm starting to see.
Yeah.
And Glastonbury, this is a place where I would like to go. So someday I'll come and visit you, and you can show me. I believe it's well, it must be one of those sites on the ley lines, like those energy points of the earth, that exist everywhere, and they're part of that energy grid of the planet, which bring that consciousness down into ourselves. Without the energy grid, we wouldn't have the consciousness that we have. And it's about us now to elevate that consciousness that has kind of not always been as high as it could be. So thank you, Fiona. And Viviane, would you like to chime in? To unmute yourself. You're muted. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you're talking about looks and how we come across. I've been very self-conscious lately because I joined a couple of dating sites. And I've been very self-conscious of the pictures that I have to put on the site. About how I look and what impression it gives people, and I'm, the more I look at myself in the mirror and see all the flaws and the lines and everything on my face, the more I think, well, who would want to even talk to me, And I'm looking for ways to hide myself, I took a couple of pictures with my sunglasses on, so I wouldn't have to show my whole face, And I don't know. It's just I'm very self-conscious about myself and about how I look and what people are saying. But when I'm in this area where I live, it's very casual. So I can go to my office in, in a t-shirt and not completely all dressed up, although I make the effort. And I'm very allergic to makeup, so if I have to wear makeup, I break out, on my face. So I try to minimize the amount of makeup that I wear. And again, it's hard because as I grow older, I notice I need to hide more things on my face, So it's been very uncomfortable for me, because who I am and what people see that I am are two different things.
Yes. Yes. I can relate to what you're saying, And prior to me really starting that conscious experiment of loving myself, and having self-compassion, I would sometimes look at myself in the mirror and kind of really look at myself as like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I had this, and this is changing. This is changing, We can change that even because, and not really, like I'm beginning, I said, well, what would I look like if I didn't dye my hair? I would be white, like would have white hair, So, like you, and you're gorgeous. You look gorgeous, with your white hair. But when you haven't done it, I started to dye my hair, I think, when I was 38, because I had a lot of gray, and I looked 50, So it really made a difference at that time, especially when I had my daughter. I was 42 when I had my daughter, So it was like, I didn't want her to, to have a grandmother being her mother, So it's like you do those things because they are, again, cultural standards and cultural conditioning. That's, again, what is there. But that's not the whole truth. And the biggest challenge I find is the self-acceptance.
Yeah, but the thing that is really interesting to me is, I love who I am. I've come to the point where I accept myself as I am. It's only on these dating sites, that I feel uncomfortable and out of place, and because you're trying to impress people or whatever. But I noticed one of the things I did was I wrote my online profile in a very creative way, very different from any profile anybody has ever written. And one person somewhere in the Midwest of the United States wrote to me and said, your profile is very different and it's beautifully written. And I thought, well, that's nice that someone appreciates that, At the same time, I'm not trying to get as many people as possible. I'm looking for the one who will understand that profile and who will resonate with what I'm putting out there, because I put out quite a bit if you read it carefully. And respond to that, because there's that one person out there, some matching flame somewhere, and I'm not wanting to get a whole huge response at all, but I was in a group recently, and a lot of people made comments about my profile, and it was all criticism, very negative on their part. And I thought, they said, well, if you want to attract as many people as possible, you have to make it more about them and giving of yourself in a normal way, because this is not normal, So anyways, I thought about it, and I reread my profile, and I thought, no, I'm not going to change anything, because this is who I am. And I'm not looking for 20 people to respond, or even 5. You know, there's only one person who will respond to that, who will resonate with that. And if that person isn't out there now, well, then it's not the right time, you know. And whatever happens, happens, because I'm not going to put on makeup and have my picture taken at a studio, at a photography studio, just so I can look slick, just so I can attract the right person. That wouldn't be me anyways. So, I mean, I go online and talk to people all the time. I don't even wear any makeup. So, I'm at the point where there is a resonance within people. I see the beauty in people from their inner glow. And, like I went to see Barbara Streisand recently, and I thought about how she was very criticized about her nose and her looks, but at the same time, she's one of the most beautiful people, because there's that inner beauty that comes out when she is performing, when she's singing, and she has that passion when she's singing that makes it so attractive, makes her so attractive, and that's what attracts me to other people. It's their passion for life, their passion, that inner joie de vivre, that ability to be joyful in a small, centered way. It doesn't have to be splashy. It doesn't have to be the Hollywood type,
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, and that's what it's all about, It's like connecting to the heart of the other person, to that resonance from the heart, and not from the looks, which is again the outside. This is the whole journey, to turn the world out from outside in. That's what we are lacking. We're living in a world that is totally externalized right now, with all the problems created because we have created a world out there. And we have forgotten how to create a world in here, So, and I can totally relate to you writing a narrow profile. When I'm saying narrow, it's like, don't you dare write to me if you don't fit there,
Yeah.
I've been there, and I think it was 1988, after I came back from India. I went to India after a breakup with a boyfriend I had been in on and off for about 7 years. We had, a very rocky relationship, and eventually it wasn't going anywhere. So I figured, okay, I needed to have like a change of scenery. I went to India, and when I came back after a few months, I had totally changed. I had really understood this inside thing, like I had so many powerful, miraculous experiences while I was in India in various ashrams. And anyway, I was guided. I was again following guidance, and it was very easy for me to do that in India because I knew nobody and I was all by myself. I knew nothing. So the only thing that I could do is to surrender and be guided and let myself be guided. So that was like a very, very powerful experience. And a few months after I came back, it's like that enlightenment experience that I felt there has carried for a few months. And at one point I said, well, I would like to share that with somebody, because I had broken up with that other relationship. And that was before internet. There was no internet in '88 yet, so dating services did not exist. So you still had newspaper. So one day I said, okay, I'm going to put a newspaper ad in the I think it was the La Presse and the Gazette, the Montreal Gazette, and I wrote that in, a really strong ad, and it's like, don't you dare answer, if you don't fit any of that, It really, I was coming from that. I said, I don't want to have a whole slew of people, calling me or writing to me and wasting my time, because that's not what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing is I was so clear that I didn't want that, this was on a Wednesday. I will never forget, because it was such a clear experience for me. It was on a Wednesday I placed the ad for the Saturday, but I called in the ad. So it was like I gave notice to the universe that I am ready. Well, guess what happened? At 11 o'clock at night, I had a call from my current husband, the one I got married to another 7 years later. That's another story. But he called me from Ottawa. He was in Ottawa, and he said he knew that I had separated from my previous boyfriend because he used to be friends with him, so he knew it. And he called me, said, I'm coming to Montreal, and would you like to go and see Ida at the Olympic Stadium on Saturday night? And I said, well, I'm totally out of practice dating, so why don't I say yes? And what the heck, So he came on Saturday, but that was the day I had put notice. I'd given notice to the universe, I'm ready, and I'd put that ad in. And when and I knew him, but he never interested me. Never in a lifetime was I interested in him. But on that Saturday night, we were sitting somewhere high on the, in the Olympic Stadium watching this Ida. Something happened. I fell in love. We had this connection. It was amazing. I had never experienced feeling love for somebody the way I did on that day. And that's what's still holding our relationship even now. We are from different backgrounds, from different cultures, and it's been rocky and all that. But that is still that spark, So I know we have a soul connection and we have a purpose. We are here for a reason, and I'm very clear about that. And that's kind of what's holding this, cementing this whole relationship. But I totally understand that, that one person is there for you. And, and it's not always happening. For me, it happened instantaneously. I don't know why, on that same day. But I want to just encourage you to maybe make it even more narrow until you connect with that soulmate, really, that is there.
Yeah, what came for me was during the last session that we had, I just thought you were totally radiant, Vivian. Like, I wish I'd said to you, I was going to send you a message. I think you should look back on that recording if you haven't already, because you were really shining. You were. No, I remember thinking it, and I was going to just drop you a note and saying you are absolutely radiant today, because you were shining. So that's what I wanted to share. But also, a very dear friend of mine, after his wife passed away, he went through the dating scheme. And he got so upset about it because he felt as if he was being judged. And, I mean, I suppose you are, really. And he is now in a relationship. And I think it was very synchronistic because the story of how they met was they met, and then very quickly Richard had a brain tumor, and so she actually was a nurse, and so I do think there is a sort of, and she helped look after him, and then they're now going to get married next year, and I really think there is that when you let go of whatever he let go of, the sort of and allowed the beauty to come in. And so they're very happy in that. But I think it's something that you're probably helping shift, because there's so many other people who feel this. They've been in a long-term relationship and then they go out again, and it must be very, very difficult. I'm very blessed in the relationship I have with my husband, and he tells me I'm beautiful every day that he's here, and he tells me he loves me, and I'm really starting to honor that. And until you love yourself, you can't really accept that love, and again with my relationship with my husband, he would not have been somebody that I would have thought he's the one for me. But I do remember putting a call out to the universe saying, I need somebody in my life, you know, and he appeared. So the power of intention, which you share with everybody else, I'm sure in your works, that's, you know, it's allowing those miracles to happen for yourself. But you are such a beautiful soul, and I really, I think when you look back at the last Google Hangout, you just were so radiant. I wanted to share.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I never watch myself on recordings or anything like that. I avoid myself.
Yeah. So do I. Perhaps that's something we need to work on with the group, really. Because I don't look at the Google Hangouts either. And I was speaking to Katie yesterday about this, and how when I first started recording meditations, I really didn't like listening to my voice. And I do encourage people, if they're doing, you know, they have a transcript of my meditation, to record it themselves. So I think, well, if I can do it with my voice, I can do it with watching watching myself on video. So perhaps that's a little challenge for the group, Eileen. we look at the Google. How many people actually go and look at the Google Hangouts?
I do now. I know. And I haven't always done it, but I do, and I kind of transcribe whatever. And this kind of has allowed me to see the progression, because there has been a progression. If I didn't do that, I would notice, you know. So it's like making the effort to do and watch, and not from a critical point at all, because I usually, I mean, maybe I did at the beginning, you know, where I kind of judged myself, because that's really the biggest healing we all have to do, you know, to heal from that critical self-judging voice that this is a virus in our morphogenetic fields, you know. This is really like a very deep wound all of humanity has, you know. So.
And I think also, you know, for me personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me personally, the idea of, you know, my experience has been with every significant person in my life that I was eventually rejected, you know. I left my marriage because I felt rejected. I left, but I felt rejected. When I look back on my entire life, I see that I've never been loved as I have loved, you know, and that I have loved so deeply. My mom used to tell me, you're the kind of person who can't be alone. You shouldn't be alone, because you have so much love to give, and you're so demonstrative and affectionate. I'm very touchy-feely with people, you know. I put my arm around them. You know, even with my patients, I always give them big hugs, and, you know, I love to demonstrate love, you know. But I haven't been with anyone who ever did that for me on an intimate level. So it just it feels very sad to me to not be able to do that, because I'm very sentimental and romantic, and you know, my dad was like that. He was a very romantic, sentimental man. He worshipped the ground my mom walked on, and he sent her these beautiful little notes in French, you know, and with flowers. And I found these notes after both of them had passed away. It was amazing. I still have them, and you know, I really think that there must be someone out there who would resonate to how I feel. And maybe it's not too late, because I had been thinking it's too late, you know. I'm past my prime, and it's never going to happen. And now I'm thinking you know, there are people who find each other in their 70s, in their 80s, you know, so there's hope for me too, you know. So, anyways, I don't think that it's something you can order, you know, but it is something that you can, as you said, I mean, you can put it out into the universe and say, I'm open and receptive to that. And I am good enough, and I am enough, period. The thing that I learned from doing the workshops with Brene Brown is that she made us write on our hands, I am imperfect and I am enough.
Yes.
Take a picture like that with our hand, with this written on our hand. And it was so important, and I did a whole scrapbook with her during the work that we did together during her, you know, the teachings that she did, and it was so important in helping me to say to other people, I am enough. I am enough.
Mm. Perfect.
Yes, and it's that practice, you know, that practice of accepting, like what you say, I am enough and I don't have to be perfect.
Right.
This is something, and it's also that practice of self-love by watching yourself, by doing mirror work. You know, I've done a lot of that also. I've done a lot of mirror work, you know,
Yeah.
where I say, well, whenever you connect with your soul through the eyes in the mirror, it's completely beyond the looks, you know, and it creates that resonant field, and it moves you beyond the critical judgment that we have, which is a program, you know, limiting beliefs. You know, we have trillions of them that got programmed into our ancestry, and we all carry that in that junk DNA. So it's work, but when you work in consciousness, you can become aware, and when you become aware and you're witnessed in that beauty, like what Fiona noticed, you know, like in that radiance, it can shift much faster. It's like you're not on your own. You know, you are, you know, it's a doable. That's what I'm realizing. You know, I used to be so critical of myself doing meditation and not doing it perfectly. Now it's like, okay, I celebrate. Oh, it's not perfect. I celebrate that it hasn't been perfect, but I did it anyway, you know, not perfectly, but I celebrated. And things are shifting so fast for me now because I've done this practice for myself, you know.
Mm.
And welcome, Heidi, you joining us at the end. How are you? You're unmuted. Can you unmute yourself if you want to chime in?
Oops.
We're not hearing you, Heidi. You have to up, you know, she knows how to do that, and in a way, she knows how to unmute. You're muted.
Oops.
There's a glitch. There's always glitches, you know.
No, there was no glitch. I lost you, and I thought I would be in a hangout window, but I didn't realize that it is up in the how do you say, in the window of the browser. I was looking everywhere for the hangout window, and I didn't see it because I had clicked on something and you were disappeared, you know, and I didn't know what had happened. Yeah, I know it's at the end. I'm sorry, I sort of forgot it. We were out having a bike tour, and we came home, and I thought, oh, yeah, because we are going in the morning, because otherwise it's too hot. So I'm hearing that you are talking about I'm not good enough, and I think this is sort of a universal thing which we have, and when we can get that done without going into the other thing of people, I'm good for everything. You know, they're doing a lot of weird stuff. if we can find the balance about it, being good enough for the things we are doing and recognizing where we are not good enough, really not good enough to learn what we need to learn. So then that's the right thing. When we are doing the I'm not good enough thing, it's normally totally exaggerated and measured on perfect, what we think is the perfect performance, you know. And I guess we have learned that in childhood with so many criticisms we have, which on the other hand is needed. But there is, I think in the education, what in our generation was missing was the guidance. The guidance thing was only said, it's not good. Okay, it's not good. I'm not good enough. Instead of having this loving guidance and saying, you see, you do it in this way and blah, blah, blah. That has been missing in my generation. I think some of the new parents, they are doing that better. Not all, some.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's you know, it's that inherited kind of limiting beliefs. This is typically inherited limiting beliefs that we all carry, especially when you are, you know, a certain age. Maybe the younger generations. Well, I don't know whether the younger generation doesn't have it, but maybe they're coming in with different kind of a.
We have always, for me, it is normal that we have limiting beliefs because in young age you don't have the over, you cannot see and you cannot reason, as you know, and so you get some beliefs, but your parents can make it less strong or stronger. You know, they can give you a guidance, and we still have to learn later to let go some or change some beliefs. This is just normal, but we are talking more about this of pathological way of limiting beliefs. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry that I didn't join because I would have liked. And I also, Vivian, I really would like to talk with you about this. What you suggested about depression.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yes, I meant to get back to you, and I haven't, and I apologize for that. I've been keeping pretty busy just answering phone calls. So, but are you still in Italy?
Yeah, I'm always here. Unless I don't find a crazy person to buy my house, I will still be here.
Oh, you're trying to move out of Italy? Is this what it is?
No, I try to find somebody, and I hope in some Saudi Arabian sheikh to have enough, give me a lot of money to buy my house, so that I can finance my old age.
You have let's put it out there. You have an estate. You have a large land around it, because I know
hectares. You have 10 hectares.
How much do you have?
10 hectares.
10 hectares.
And the house has 450 square meters, and little apartments and rooms. I have 9 bathrooms and I think 5 kitchens here around. So
Wow.
it's big. It's big.
And where is that house? Where is it located?
It is about 70, the kilometer 73 from the center of Rome towards north.
Wow.
Yeah. It's nice. I wanted to do, and I did it for a short while, you know, seminars and courses, but you know, it's everything. You have to put all your energy in it to get the people coming. So I still have about 2 or 3 groups a year, but that's not really how I can finance the house. Only the taxes and everything, you know. So if I find somebody who pays me enough, I will go. But this is not the topic here. So, but I'm still in Italy, and I'm here almost 30 years. No, I have built it all up, and all my money, what I earned, is all in this house. So.
Yes, it's your future.
Well, before I forget, Heidi, can you send me another email if you're interested, and then we can connect so that we don't take up the time here.
Yeah, well.
Thank you. Do you have an animal behind you, beside you?
This is here, doggy.
Oh, adorable.
He has to stay home when we go for a bike ride, and now he's, oh, she is, it's a she. She is asking for attention, you know.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm just looking at the time. We are past the hour, so I'm gonna, unless you have anything else that you would like to contribute to the space,
No, it's just fine. It's just fine. I'm glad I remembered. I saw the email. You know, was checking the email. I thought, oh yeah, I come in, and then saw that you're so few. I said, oh, I might not disturb too much.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, glad to see you.
Being here, because that really contributes to each other, you know, that witnessing and that constant progression of daring to come out there on video, on camera, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up and for being present in the circle. I really appreciate. I'm very grateful, because it really helps me also to
Sure.
to grow, you know, and to go beyond. And now I have realized recently that Google is yet changing the Hangouts again. They're moving it to YouTube Live. And I don't know, Heidi, do you know if you can have people in the room like we have here?
Oh, sure. It's all the same. You only have to initiate on YouTube, and you don't have an event page anymore. That's
Okay. I was wondering if I need to move to Zoom or if we can.
No. It's all the same, only the event page and the difficulty to invite your circles, for instance. But you do it in a circle which is well defined, so you send out the emails. For you, it doesn't change anything.
Okay, good. Okay, thanks for the clarification. And thank you for coming and showing up. And I'm not sure I'll be able to conduct one in 2 weeks, because I'll be back in Canada. I'm leaving on next Wednesday. And then shortly after that, I'll go and be with my daughter in Ottawa, helping her. And I don't know whether her internet connection is going to be appropriate to do it. If it is, I will know and I will do it. Otherwise, we'll meet again on the following full moon.
Fantastic.
And I don't know the timing yet, because it will change again. You know, I'll be back in North America, so I have to kind of adjust to the timing again.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies.
Could I ask for everybody's prayer for there are so many people around me. 80,000 people just lost their homes in the last 24 hours. Wildfires are rampant in California, and we have a drought that's been going on for years.
Wow.
And everything's going up in flames like that. So if you could keep us in your prayers, please, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. And yes, and stay safe, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, stay in touch, Eileen, because I don't know how I'm going to be able to reach you.
Well, you can always via Skype, you know. You can always send a message.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.